It's time for To the Max Sports, where we talk about sports. They're just two guys, Max and Drew, in a bar talking all things sports. Well, without the bar. And the beer. Wait, why aren't we in the bar? Last time on To the Max.
I brought this for dinner tonight.
Is that crow?
I'm eating crow. This is why I don't bet football anymore. We're only going to have one camera angle tonight, so we're going to be staring straight at you folks. Hope you enjoy the show. We got a lot to talk about. Going to do a little scatter shooting again tonight. I won't be here next week. I'll be on vacation. So Maxwell, you're going to be in charge next week. I think I'm telling you that right now.
All right, we have Jerry Jones coming in, and also
So he's not going to be on the phone.
He's actually coming in. He's gonna. He has a great taco recipe that he's trying to.
I'm actually working with the corporate big rigs to renegotiate my contract. Bob, are you on that? Are you helping me with the renegotiations?
I'm trying to figure out why my streaming software is not working the way I want it to.
Ruh-roh.
Uh-oh.
Yep, it just kicked me off.
Okay. Well, wants to continue on?
Just keep on vamping, and I'm going to switch.
Okay. So we're going to continue to talk here about some sports things. Okay. Do have a good friend coming on in 2 weeks, a guy I served in the Army with. He runs an organization called Army Bass Anglers, named Cody Roberson, good guy. And his organization works with several 6 or 7 non-for-profits that actually raise money for military causes. So it's a great thing that he's doing. Want to have him come on, talk a little more about that.
Okay.
Yes, bass fishing is a sport as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, it's a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes talent to catch them because normally I come up empty-handed. So that's going to be a fun show. Stay tuned for that. That'll be in a couple weeks. And how we doing? Are we on? Okay. Want to talk about a couple things tonight. The first is let's talk about some baseball chokers.
Baseball. All right.
And Bob will probably add some comments to this. But Bob, come August 1st, your Mets were in first place. Looking like they had the whole series set up for a big division win title. And then all of a sudden, they pissed the bed, and they're completely out of it. They've gone 17-30 since August. Any thoughts on that one, Brother Bob?
That's the Mets' go-to move, is the absolute collapse.
I read of the agony of Mets fans, and I watched a documentary, though, and I couldn't believe how much talent they had on their team. The 86 Mets with Dystra. They had Hernandez, Carter, Strawberry, Gooden. The list goes on, man. That was a good team in 86. Were you a Mets fan back then?
Oh, I've been a Mets fan since mid-70s.
Yeah. So, wow, what a team they had. Yeah. I didn't realize how stacked they were.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they didn't participate in more World Series with that roster.
Well, I mean, what's interesting is, back in the 70s, they had the cheapest payroll in baseball. I mean, they really sucked.
Yeah.
Even 86 when they won the World Series, it wasn't a great payroll. They're one of the top 3 or 4 payrolls in baseball right now, and they still suck.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because they thought Javi Baez from Chicago, when they got him in that trade deadline, he would help, but it's actually gone reverse. They've gone downhill since then. But you are a long-suffering Mets fan. I'm a long-suffering Reds fan, and we managed once again to probably play ourselves out of a wild card spot. We were trailing at the All-Star break, the Padres, by about 3 or 4 games on a nice roll. They go out, they get Luis Cessa, a reliever for the Yankees, but our middle relief needed so much help. We had starters putting in 7 innings, and for whatever reasons, drives me crazy. David Bell's the manager who just got a 2-year extension. If you are a starting pitcher for the Reds and it's the 7th inning and you walk a guy or you get a hit, you're immediately getting pulled out of the game. So we lost over 25 games after the 7th inning this year. You take half of those games and turn them into wins by having some quality relief pitching. We easily win the wild card, or possibly even would have given Milwaukee a run for their money in the division. And then, of course, probably bigger chokers than us were the Padres, who were 4 games ahead of us going into the All-Star break. They've completely collapsed. So those are my three chokers.
I could see those are good. I might have one better. Maybe the Yankees.
Yeah.
The Yankees, we were praising them. I mean, 4 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I was pretty excited when you and I were talking about that. And now they're in a position where they might play Boston for one game and winner take all to move on, and then Toronto might move in. So it might be Tampa Bay winning this thing. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay's clearly got the division locked up.
So.
I think you called Tampa Bay when we were picking our teams.
It's an exciting time right now. Baseball, it's about to start again, so I can't wait for the playoffs.
It's fun, and the wild card adds a little more fun to the whole thing. So we'll see what happens.
Do you want to do a prediction real quick? I know the game started with Carolina and Houston.
So I don't know what the score is. No one tell me. I predict that it'll be 24-16. I've got Carolina winning. I think the Vegas odds are at 8, so to me, it's going to be a push.
And I have Carolina winning 28-13, and you are correct. It is going to be 8 points.
Okay, so you've got them covering. I got the game as a push.
Halfway through the first quarter, it's 0-0. Nope. Panthers score a touchdown.
All right,
there we go.
And apparently the Texans went to the local Valero. They got a guy who was like checking you out, Davis Mills. I think that's what he was doing last week, but now he's starting quarterback. So
all right,
there you go.
Come on, Texans.
Not to be
Dreams come true in Houston.
Yes.
Not to be confused with Miles Davis.
No. Okay.
Well, talking about quarterbacks, that's a good segue.
Yeah.
Man, I wanted Bob to pull up a picture, but I was too late. I'm always asking him to do things at the last minute. But in the 70s, if you watch football, you would see quarterbacks just getting their blocks knocked off. I had a picture of a guy named Turkey Jones when he picked up Terry Bradshaw and literally body slammed him. So what's up with all these injuries? You know, right now they practically play with a hanky in their back pocket. You got Wentz, he's hurt. You've got Tua from Miami hurt. Taylor, that we just talked about for Houston, he's out. Dalton. So it looks like Justin Fields is going to get his start. And actually, Ben is questionable along with the quarterback for the Browns, Baker. So
maybe I can answer that. What do you think if MMA or let's say boxing were to go to something where the NFL quarterbacks would, so you don't touch them all week or all month when they're preparing for a boxing match, and that way they're fully rested and they're healthy and they don't have any scratches or bruises. You think that would help boxers and MMA fighters?
No.
It's kind of what the quarterbacks.
That's a good point.
I mean, they don't get touched. They put a jersey on, the red jersey or whatever color they're using, and they don't get touched. Nobody can get around them or anything. And your body gets used to that. I mean, if you get used to not being touched, what's going to happen the first time you get sacked?
You know, actually, I never thought about that, but that's an excellent point. I remember in Hard Knocks where one of the rooks just grazed the quarterback,
remember that,
and the coaches just lost their minds. I mean, I understand the investment that the organizations have in these quarterbacks, millions literally of dollars, but at some point, you've got to go out there and you've got to take a chance on letting them get a little contact, because you're right. Cold turkey, game day, they get hit. And it just surprising, as well as they're protected, at how many have actually gone down.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a little bit of that for me is I think some of these quarterbacks are just trying too hard. They're not, I mean, Tom Brady's 44. I mean, he's being fitted for a cane next week, or he should be. But
he's talking about playing to 50.
When he's under pressure, he turtles up and he goes down. He doesn't force a bad situation. Right. So you look at a Tua, who's generally kind of a running quarterback. I think Tua's going to force a bad situation. Carson has forced a bad situation multiple times in his career. Yeah. Ben probably thinks he's a tank and can take any of the abuse that's thrown his way. Yeah. Baker and Andy Dalton behind a bad offensive line.
Yeah.
I feel for Justin Fields this week.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Drew. How many times have you heard an NFL player describe when they play on Sunday as being in a car accident? So when you say that and you play like that, what happens to the quarterbacks when they get hit from the blind side, not expecting it? Yeah. It's going to take a toll. So good point. You brought it up. I mean, maybe they should think about how they're protecting them, quote unquote, and see what happens. Maybe kind of experiment a little bit. Let them get hit a little bit during practice.
Yeah. Well, speaking of protected quarterbacks, guess who has 9 TDs already?
9 touchdowns. Let me guess. Let's see. I think we predicted that he was going to do 50 this year. So is it Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
Look at him.
I mean, the ageless wonder. It is amazing. Guess who has 5 interceptions already this year?
5 interceptions. Let me see. Is it a rookie?
2 rookies.
Is it the one from New York?
Yeah.
And
let's see. The next one, let me guess. Give me the next one.
The one with the rookie coach.
Yeah, the boy wonder. Lawrence.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, these guys, I can't imagine at this point, knowing Urban Meyer and having seen him with Ohio State and Florida, that he's going to suffer through a 0-17, 1-16 season. I mean, he may be looking for the golden parachute already. I'm just predicting that. I have no idea, but just knowing the man, that team's it's full blown rebuild mode, and it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, I can see that this year, man. They're going to have to do a lot of work to get this guy protected. I mean, yeah, he's throwing interceptions, but what's going to happen when we talk about him getting hit? Has he played a team with a great defense? It's going to have a defensive lineman coming around the corner and hitting him, and then God forbid, let him get a concussion. Then where's he at? And then what happens to Urban Meyer?
Yeah. Well, that was the same thing with my quarterback, Joe Burrows. I mean, the guy was heaving up last year, 40, 50 balls a game. He was getting sacked 8 or 9 times. I'm like, you're killing this kid.
Yeah.
You're absolutely killing this kid. There's no way in the NFL a quarterback can get sacked consistently 4, 5, 6 times a game and at some point not pay the price.
Well, I mean, Peyton Manning in his first season got destroyed. Yeah. And my fear for all these rookie quarterbacks is, I mean, a little bit of the psyche, a little bit of what it does to them. Yeah. I think that first season with the Jets destroyed Mark Sanchez. I worry for Zach Wilson. I worry for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. That's a great point, because with the Jets, who's their quarterback, Sam Darnold, who's now at Carolina, and he's playing tonight. And look what he's done with his career. He's turned it around. He's playing well this year, Sam Darnold, is because he's not seeing ghosts and he's being protected.
He's out in New York.
Yeah.
That's how you salvage your career. Get out in New York, right?
Get out of New York and stop playing for the Jets.
You're playing for a bad team in the worst media market in the United States to be playing for a bad team.
So I got a factoid for you guys.
Okay.
There was only one other there's a quarterback who actually had a worse first 2 games of his to start his career. He had 6 interceptions, which is one more than what Lawrence and Wilson have had this year. Any guesses?
Peyton Manning.
You got it.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep. So, did we show you? We have his jersey. He actually gave us his jersey. He gave us his jersey back there. So thank you, Peyton.
Well, he's giving us a gift with his brother Eli every Monday night.
That's pretty cool. I like.
If you haven't watched that show, you really need to watch that show, folks.
You guys talked about it. Tell the story. I had just heard it about what you.
Well, on ESPN2, it's Eli and Peyton. They're doing Monday Night Football, which is pretty cool, man. You can change it over to those guys and watch them. And one of the things that they're doing is ESPN2 is allowing, or ESPN is allowing them to just kind of be them. Last week, Eli was making fun of Peyton Manning because of the size of his head. He couldn't find a helmet, right? And then this week, Peyton kind of, I guess, was joking, quote unquote, about how the Patriots used to bug the showers when they used to play them. That's why they couldn't beat them, which was pretty cool, man. It's a funny show and it's good. And the audience is kind of leaning that way and getting away from Monday Night Football, the announcers that they have.
Yeah,
So-
and it's I mean, apart from the anecdotes and the story about being bugged in Foxborough, the insight that both Peyton and Eli have as to what's happening as it's happening. I mean, Romo gave that to us when he first came into broadcasting. And it's a real interesting and it's a real neat perspective on it because they're calling exactly what's going to happen.
They're awesome. And you can tell why they were successful, especially Eli. Everybody kind of underrated him. And it's just showing his mind is showing you, man, this guy's a really, really good football player. Or he was. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So they're watching the game and still calling audibles. Huh?
Oh, absolutely,
awesome.
man.
So I'll have to check that out.
Pretty cool.
So here's an interesting story. A guy got a $25 free bet play. I guess certain places will do promos, casinos, or a lot of these online betting sites. So they gave him a $25 free play. He went all in, did a 16-team parlay.
Okay.
He hit 15 out of 15.
Wow.
Monday night, which is, I mean, if you've ever tried to hit a parlay, just trying to hit a 3-teamer is damn near impossible.
So he got all 15?
Yeah, he hit all 15, needed one more.
Okay.
He took Detroit, which at the time was 11.5-point dogs against Green Bay.
Okay.
It was Monday night and lost.
Because he took Detroit.
Because he took Detroit.
Why did he take Detroit?
Well, I guess he thought, which, I was talking to Bob about it, 11.5 points.
But it's Detroit.
Yeah.
But it's a divisional game.
But it's Detroit.
I know.
I mean, the Jets have played the Patriots tight, even in their worst seasons.
But it's Detroit.
Well, yeah.
That's where bad teams go to rehabilitate.
I get it.
Yeah.
But the good news is he would have. Well, the bad news is he lost, and he lost as a result $750,000 on a $25 bet. But he did get, because he hit 15 to 16. I guess he won $133,000.
Well, good for him. At least he won something.
Still not bad. Still not bad at all.
That's good for a weekend.
One more thing, then we'll wrap up. Lane Kiffin came out and said, you know what? I guess he's the coach now for
Ole Miss,
and I guess they're going to be playing, I believe, are they playing Alabama this week?
I think Ole Miss, I'd have to check.
I'm not sure who they're playing. But at any rate, he came out and he said, he goes, you know what? These Alabamas, these Ohio States, these Clemsons, they're going to be solid forever and for a long time. And you know why he said that? And I never thought about it.
Why?
Well, he said, it doesn't really matter as much. Yeah, obviously, you got to recruit well, but he said the emphasis on recruiting isn't as important as it used to be, because now with this portal transfer, you can just pick up your need through the portal transfer.
True.
And I never really thought about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, when he's talking about that, he's directing that to Nick Saban, because when he coached with Nick Saban, he was at Alabama. That's part of the new change with the portal. All they can have to do, I mean, if they need a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman, all they have to do is go to the portal, say, okay, are you ready to come to Alabama? And they plug him in as a backup. If they need a quarterback, they just go to the portal, see who's there, who's available, and plug him in as a backup. That's something that when they thought about this and they talked about it, they didn't think it all the way through, because now what they've done is they strengthened Alabama. And to be fair, is everybody taking advantage of the portal? Not really, but who's taking advantage of it and just kicking everybody else is Alabama. And I don't think they're going to weaken or lose anything, going forward. And that's just going to strengthen Alabama. And good for Lane Kiffin to bring it up, because maybe they need to make some changes.
This is America. This is not communist China. Let Nick Saban do what Nick Saban does. If Kiffin has a problem with it, if LSU has a problem with it, if any other program has a problem with it, beat him in his own game or shut up.
Beat him on the field. Yep.
And I will say, it didn't seem like he was sour grapes. He was just basically saying these teams don't expect him to not be dominant, stay as dominant as they are for a long time. And I forgot, we actually got Ohio State. Justin Fields through the portal.
Yeah.
I think he came from, I don't want to say Georgia. I can't remember. But yeah, it's interesting. How does the portal work, and when did this all start? Do you know much about that? I don't want to put you on the spot.
No. The portal came a couple of years ago, and the reason it started is because of all the transfers. It wasn't fair for athletes to transfer. And their only thing was if they didn't get the starting position or if they got hurt, they could be there's a red shirt opportunity. But let's say that somebody wanted to transfer from the University of Texas. Their only option was to play immediately, was to go to a smaller school, and that wasn't fair.
Yeah.
So now with the portal, you can go in there if you decide, you know what, I'm not getting enough playing time, or I'm homesick or injury or whatever. To give you a good example, the kid that played for Baylor and started Brewer for 4 years at Baylor transferred to Utah. Well, the third game of the season this year, he lost his starting position. So he's in the transfer portal. He's just sitting there. So that means he can come back next year and play for somebody. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
cool.
it's a really good thing. I mean, it was ridiculous that these kids were being sat on the bench for a year if they tried to transfer out and can't even go in conference, and all these coaches are leaving them behind. The coach can move.
Yeah,
there's no restriction against Nick Saban waking up tomorrow morning and go, I kind of want to coach Notre Dame.
Yeah, he can leave, and then that's an advantage for him and continue to do well. But what about the players, the ones that actually work hard, going to practice, winning the games, putting their bodies, what they put their bodies through to make sure that school gets paid and gets rewarded. So good for these guys.
That's cool. Well, I'm not sure we're getting a message that people aren't hearing my audio on my mic, but that's okay. I didn't have a whole lot to say tonight.
Do you mind if I do the predictions real quick?
Yeah, go ahead and do your predictions.
Real quick, as every week, high school prediction this week. We have 2 undefeated teams, Brandeis and Johnson High School. I'm going with Johnson. They're both 4-0, and Johnson's going to be 5-0, and Brandeis will be 4-1.
So you're officially all Smithson Valley?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with my son's school. So, yes, thank you, Christian. All right, NCAA college. I have West Virginia against Oklahoma, and I'm going to take the points with that one. I think that's too many for Oklahoma. It's at minus 17, so I'm going with West Virginia in the points. And then for the NFL, I have the Bucks versus the Rams. I'm going to go with that one. I'm taking the Rams on that one.
Okay, those are good bets. I am actually going to go ahead and, if I have to do a college one, I don't see anything major happening. Maybe Wisconsin beats Notre Dame. UCLA being 25, that would probably be the one I would pick if I had to do an upset. Stanford may beat them. And then for my NFL, given the fact that Rodgers is 0 for life against the 49ers, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb here and take the 49ers, and I think their defense can shut Rodgers down. And that'll be my pick for the NFL this week.
Well, there we go.
So, well, folks, this wraps up this week's show. Again, I won't be here next week. I'll be renegotiating my contract. If everything goes well, I'll be here 2 weeks from then. My trusty cohort, Max, will be here to give you pithy comments. Enjoy the show next week. Have a great evening. Again, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and folks, I know the audio is a little off tonight, and we're trying something different, and apparently it didn't work. So we're going to try something different next week. So bear with us and come back next week, and it'll be better.
We have a special guest next week.
Ooh.
It was just going to be a sock puppet, but no, I'm not doing that.
Jerry Jones?
Well, you can call him Jerry Jones. He's going to look like it. He's all wrinkly.
All wrinkly and mad that doesn't have a good football team. Okay, folks. Thanks so much for watching us and bearing with us. Join us every week on Thursday nights, and we are out. Thanks, folks.
Good evening.